Colt, who was the weakest character to me on the movie. He get this Metal Scorpion King outfit. Like, so y'all just gonna give him a shirt? You don't even get a full outfit?
No helmet.
Or helmet, nothing. Okay.
Just punch him in the eye. Go.
What are movie disciples and good people of YouTube? I go by Brian, the movie Messiah, and this is a spoiler review for Mortal Kombat, the 2021 version. And I couldn't think of anybody else to bring on this other than my bro G and my bro John, who did the trailer reaction with me, and we did some fire ass numbers. We did some numbers for the channel, so I had to bring it back.
I'm bringing heat to the channel,
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I'll take all the help and not even help. I'll take the lives. I can. Yeah, I'll take all the lives
Gemini
I can take.
Libra connection.
Let's get it.
OVO XO. Yeah.
It says spoiler review, spoiler heavy, and I figured my man John would definitely, I don't know, have some hot takes, but definitely have a great opinion about what we witnessed last week when Mortal Kombat came out last week. That's what kind of
Look, that's gonna be my first take right there.
Yes, man.
The dude they had play. No, they didn't even say it. They didn't show it. They just heard the voice. Like, you at least could have had the person say it or somebody. Like, they didn't even give me that.
Didn't even give that. So let's hop right in. First, off top, like just quick overall thoughts. How you felt when we got done watching it. John, I'm gonna let you go real quick.
There was a little bit of nostalgia. Can't lie. I mean, it's Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
I still play the fighting game to this day. Excuse me. So you got elements in there that's like from the beginning. And we're talking about the movie, but it's also gaming that they have in there too.
Yep.
Storyline, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But slight. Characters, it's like 50-50 for me.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And the fighting scenes, lit. Could have been a notch better, but they were good though. It was enough to be like, okay, they got busy here. But other than that, if we going from 1 to 10, I think I gave it a 7.
7. Okay. All right, G. What about you?
Yeah,
He had to pause and breathe.
Because man, 95 was just imprinted in my brain, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like I was just a little too hard on, what I'm saying? I was like, you know what, let me just look at this for what it is and see if I'm at least entertained. And I think to sum up everything, categorize it or whatever, I was. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like blown away, but I was like, you know what? It was cool for what it was and like what they had, because I think they didn't have a good budget or they had enough of a budget, but they were like
50 million maybe.
If you get that was a 50 million budget, boy, I better say some Matrix type. Like, stop playing with me.
Right.
I'll say less budget and create something way better than that if that's the case.
Yeah.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how John graded it? What'd you give it, G?
7. Yeah, 7.
So
yeah, 7. Because I would say there's 3 big points that would get it up to close to 10 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? Because there's the potential is a lot. Right.
It's nitpicking to get to that 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like
because it wasn't trash. Right.
It's entertaining to watch. I'll say that at least. It's not like I don't want to see that. It's like, no, it's worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
You just have your critique about it. That's it.
Yeah. Right.
For me, I'd say it's an entertaining mess. It's an entertaining collage of stuff happening. That's how I'm like. That's what it was like. Entertaining moments. It wasn't all the way cohesive for me. Like you were saying, John. You know, the characters. Like I like some of them. Well, I thought some of them they were like high highs of certain characters and unexpected characters, and then it was like some nice and lows. They're just like meh for some other characters. The story. It started out at one point, then it went somewhere else, and then kind of just like plateaued and just got real regular, and it didn't do what I was expecting, which I'll get into for the next question. And the action, it had its moments, like when it first started, and definitely at the end. But certain parts, I was like, some's not it's not hitting me. I'm not feeling it the way I would like to see, especially with the action we've seen in the past 10 years almost, or at least 7 or 8, from like the Raid, the Winter Soldier, you know, things like that, like just hands coming at your screen. So like my expectations, like before the movie came out, or before the trailer came out, I was just kind of like, oh, another Mortal Kombat movie. I'm like, all right, you know, it'll look better because, you know, just time overall CGI, you know, it should be better, and just depending on the tone. And then after we saw the trailer, we did the trailer reaction. I know me and John were both looking like, yo, like
this got very good potential.
Yeah, like they do this right. Like this is gonna be some, you know, some next franchise universe building type stuff. Like they can go at least, you know, at least a trilogy for sure.
I think it's still that though, but we'll get into that too.
Yeah. G, like, what were your expectations before you saw the trailer? Just like hearing about the next Mortal Kombat movie coming out, or did you have any?
I did. My big one, which I think probably a lot of people had, was a true tournament. That was my biggest expectation, right? I was like, I'm excited to see. What the hell?
G getting a phone call.
Yeah, my bad.
When you say tournament, do you mean like in the first movie where they actually showed up to the island and?
Yeah, like a dedicated, you know what I'm saying? Like space, you know what I'm saying? Like here's like a Dragon Ball Z reference where it's like, how did they always have a 500-mile radius on Earth to just blow up everything, and all of Earth didn't get, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where do y'all always fly to when it's okay to just shoot beams and destroy half the place and no one get? But you're right, yeah. You're like, you know, it was cool that like in the first one, it was cheesy, but they hopped on this rickety ass ship and they fought. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it was cool to kind of like March Madness these brackets and be like, yo, who you got? I'm like, yo, I hope like, you know, Cyrex and Liu Kang meet up. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, his field goal percentage ain't really as high as Sonya. So I was like, you know, but he did go in the second round. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted like a legit, like, well, we could be like, wow, okay, like, you know, character focused fighting style that old school WoW, where it was like, okay, Jack's got arms, but he's still human. Sonya, she's still human. You know, whatever the case. You know, so yeah, that was my expectation going into it. So I feel like I was just hoping for this space, this super dope set with just this, you know, skulls hanging of Shang Tsung's victims or whatever, and you know what I'm saying. And then like this brawl, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Shang Tsung just eating souls of losers, you know, just like, yeah. So
even the way he took Kung Lao so I'm like, what is this? Ghostbusters? It was real Ghostbusterish. Like it was
right.
At least in the first movie, he was like, "Your soul is mine," and the way he did it was, you know, he put it in the eye. It was all different elements that he did it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he took the black out of old dude. Remember?
Yeah.
It was
his dreads was dry. Right, his dreads was dry. He took so much. He was like,
The first Shang Tsung, he had so much conviction that you really believed him. You know, this Shang Tsung was like
swag, yo.
First of all,
straight swag.
You give him this Deadly Seven Sins old kung fu movie with the out. I'm like, come on, now.
With the top ponytail.
Come on. Like he didn't even look like that in the game. He had the ponytail to the back, not up. So give me that. Give me those elements.
Right.
Right. Then an outfit. You know what I'm saying? At least they closely got the outfit right in the very first movie. He didn't have a little leather shirt on. It was like a little cloth with a little button up or whatever. But this dude had a whole bathrobe on. Like you got that element. You have. I'm in full agreement with you, OG. I definitely would have wanted to see, even though they all had their different areas of fighting.
Yeah,
you still would have seen a tournament, and I think they kind of rushed into the tournament, the dialogue into the tournament.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even have a tournament. I feel like this is a prequel. Really, this was like, all right, we setting up to get to the tournament because Shang Tsung was trying to cheat. He was like, I didn't have no problem with him, with that. If that's gonna be the storyline, okay, I'm like, he's gonna cheat so they can, just crush him anyway in the tournament. So this is like a prequel to set up for the sequel, which, you think about it's kind of smart. It's like, okay, I'm like, we'll actually get the tournament in the second one, so we have like more to do in the sequel instead of just like boom, get right to the tournament, because that's what the 195 did, which I rewatched the other day. It holds up to a degree. Like, it's cheesy. Like, Shang Tsung outfit, like you said, the vest, was cool, especially in the final fight. His fit was cool, but also, definitely had that 90s vibe. He wearing a leather jacket. It's summertime.
Long leather jacket.
Long, it hot. You on an island? Like, you ain't cooking. What island are you on? Like, I've been up to sweating. Like, I gotta take this off.
Everybody else outside with no shirt on. This man got a whole leather jacket on. Like,
Vince from the same planet.
You different.
Remember, Vince used to wear a jacket in the summer.
Right,
boy. Vince had that Crown Royal racing jacket. Yo, hot. Vince had a hoodie with a jacket cooling. Like, Vince. He part Asian though,
Also, the other part too, to me, about the tournament, it's the way they did it. Like you said, they rushed it. It's almost like you working at Kroger or QT, Quick Trip for those who's watching. And like somebody comes in like, oh, hey, look, the world's ending. I need you. Let's go. It's like, wait, you like right now?
Right? Like, yeah, like
right
so
now.
fast.
And then you telling me I gotta find my powers within like seconds. Come on, no.
Like, yeah, it happened so fast. Like, there was like no guidance. Well, since we're kind of already talking about it, like, what didn't work for you, and then we'll get into like what worked for you. So, John, what didn't work for you?
What didn't work for me was how they actually. I'll say this. Let's go backwards. The storyline when Raiden took the little baby.
Yep.
That storyline was dead.
Yep.
Same. It leaves you to choice of how you want to slice that up. Like, oh, maybe this is just a bloodline, but now you got to put other storylines in between to see if it connects. And they really never connected. But okay, I did like the fact, okay, let's go to Raiden's temple.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when you go to Raiden's temple, you find I forgot the word they use, but you pretty much find your power or your gift.
Arcana.
Right, you find your arcana. Okay, remembering stuff. Probably got that written down in front of you right now.
No, I literally don't. I literally just been hearing like other people reviews, and they've been saying it. I was like, that's it. Okay. I said Arcana when I was talking to G on Sunday. My watch. I was like Arcana. I was like, I don't think that's it. But then I was like, Arcana.
I kind of think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I like that part. It's cool. I think it was still cheesy. Mm-hmm. Jackson getting his arm, Sonya with the little drinks on her arm, Colt, who was the weakest character to me on the movie, he get this Metal Scorpion King outfit. So I was gonna give him a shirt. He don't even get a full outfit.
No helmet.
Or helmet, nothing. Okay.
Just punch him in the eye. Go.
Okay. So Subzero and Kano were good. The dude who plays Scorpion, he's always in like some little martial arts movie. I always forget his name, but he was good as usual. I don't think he can fail. Even his little look, slightly, even though he was in Endgame.
Yeah.
Guy, like even in that role, he was just good for that little bit of seconds. He just good. Kung Lao and his hat is probably the best of the movie to me in action. Like the fight is cool, but in a sense of fatalities, flawless victories, and all that, of the nostalgia that we love, the hat scene, him throwing it around and catching it like it was Captain America's shield, and then spinning on the ground and slicing, which I believe was, I forget her name, but she's like on what, Mortal Kombat 5 or
Yeah, she's like a vampire or something. I think it started with an N or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
yeah. I, at least we saw Raiden in the first one kind of get busy.
Yeah, or at least he was a guide. And that one, this one, he was just like, these are fighters, sorry ass niggas, and just
a complete asshole with it. And I'm thinking him and Shang Tsung was about to get it in, towards the end. And I'm like, dang, you cheated us that. And I hated that his eyes was lit the whole time. I really did.
It was weird. You're right, yeah.
But the first, I mean, he wasn't bad, but I still like the first Raiden. I think he had more of a Raiden vibe of how we Raiden.
Yeah, my both of them comparing to like 95 and 20 and this one, like both Shang Tsung and Raiden, they had personality. And this one, they were kind of like, we here. Like they look good. I'm not saying their acting was bad. It was just like they didn't have enough to do. Like we expected more out of seeing like
y'all the leaders of this. Like y'all are running the realm. So how you not gonna have a bigger piece for them?
Yeah.
Like you could build the fighters up later, but at least build the dialogue of Raiden and Shang Tsung being like, we are those people. You feel me? And then there's one more character I'm missing. Goro was straight.
Yeah.
He looked more
3D. He looked dope.
Yeah, he still looked more 3D-ish than the actual the first one.
Yeah.
There's one more character I'm missing. Cabal. Cabal looked pretty lit.
Coldest looking character in my opinion.
Yeah. They actually got Cabal's outfit right. I like it.
And the purple accents when he actually did move fast. I was like, I was telling B, I said I wanted the fast run. Remember when he would run off the screen and run past you, you'd be spinning.
You wanted that.
He'd be hitting with it. Right.
If y'all pay attention closely, there's a close-up, and I did it twice. There's a close-up when they are on Cabal. I think he's talking to, it's when they first get to Raiden's temple, and he's holding, matter of fact, I think he's talking to Kano.
Yeah.
He's holding the weapon right here. If you look closely, the weapon looks so fake. Like you can see the plastic handle, like it's. I think they was like, you know what, forget it. We just gonna run it.
That's how I felt about his mask. They were too close.
Cabal, go back and do like, yo, John was right.
I can't wait to peep this now.
That's how I felt about his mask, man. His mask, come on, we know his mask ain't really hooked up to an iron lung. Like, back up just a little bit. They had him talking to Kano with that close up, and I'm like, wow, man, it don't even like he got vents on the mouth part of the thing. It just looked like it was just like a helmet.
They could have gave us like a Iron Man / Bane type mask feeling for Cabal, and it would have been perfect. Perfect. You know what I'm saying?
What worked for you? What didn't work for you?
I'm gonna keep going with Cabal. I thought Cabal looked so dope. Yeah, with the purple accents, with the black outfit. I don't quite remember if he was that much of like a funny guy, I guess. I think I do kinda, but I was still okay with it. I felt like he had a little bit too much dialogue, but I was like, okay, cool. So what else? Cole's family should have died.
Man, what?
They should have died. I think it would have given him a little bit more drive or more reason, I guess, if you will. Because like that line where he was like, all right, the home is here, I gotta go, would have made more sense if it was like a tournament, like we were saying earlier, like, all right, I'm actually going somewhere to a place to go fight. I'm not just going, follow this four-armed dude back through this portal or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I guess to keep going with that, it was,
only because you're right there. This is what I'm saying, the script was all over because you're having flashbacks of Scorpion.
Yeah.
That would have been the conversation, that would have been the drive in itself to get his heritage or his bloodline. You learn about your bloodline literally at the end of the movie. Like, you're pretty much the main character, so that would have been day one from the beginning, and then we build through that and catch everything else in between. But then
Raiden said it like briefly before he like dismissed him. My fault for killing you. He said it briefly, but you didn't even like, you heard it, but you didn't like really catch it. It's like, okay, you just keep
Right.
going.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think what better way to help him activate it than saying, okay, not only are we from the same bloodline, but we share a same traumatic story, right? Like your family died, my family was slaughtered. Channel that.
Yeah.
I used that not only to channel my whatever, but now I channel the hell flames or whatever he said he had to do or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I would have been like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So
At least the dagger.
I think, yeah,
you're gonna get
right.
the dagger at the end of the movie.
She got the
So Raiden, you've been holding this dagger the whole time. You could have told him like, "Hey, your bloodline is attached to this dagger." And really gave him the storyline about his heritage, and then, again, it could have just went from there. But no,
right, yeah.
you
He
rushed
got
in
his
like I got
vest.
let off.
right. And I think what did work for me though was, maybe this is a good segue, but I think a lot of people give credit to Kano for carrying the movie for his like comic relief or his comic kind of angle. But in a lot of ways, we got that from a whole nother character. And that's the character that we got in the end credit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we got a lot of funny guy from Johnny Cage, and it made sense because we know that's who he was or whatever. In a lot of ways, he kind of carried the movie. Like, one of my favorite scenes from '95 was just, not only when we first meet Sub-Zero and Scorpion and Raiden is like, I can almost quote it. Yeah, exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like,
the
he was like, yo, Johnny Cage, because I was telling B, I said, I feel like that's the same scene because Sonya was like, freeze, and Sub-Zero touched the gun. This is the same scene with Jax shooting and Sub-Zero freezing the gun. So I was like, all right, cool. But Johnny Cage came in with the jokes, like, be nice to the lady. I think Sonya was like, if I need backup, I'll radio for it. Yeah. But then we had dialogue with Shang Tsung just being him swaggy self, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. He was like, oh, they cold. And then Raiden came in with the lightning or whatever and was like, y'all, chill out.
And locked them up. Like,
locked them up.
Not the dead.
Right. So I was like, oh, okay. All right. But that comedic relief we got that just kept carrying it was from Johnny Cage. In this movie it's Kano. But, I think that it would be a different dynamic if we got two funny guys, and in the next one, if that's what they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Which I don't think we need to talk. Well, we're going to talk about it. Ever since the part one, not even a movie, but the game and then the movie, Kano was a bad guy. So I hate that they even gave him somewhat of a good role of helping out Sonya and all that. Like, why did y'all give us that? You could have gave us a whole different. You could have still kept Kano. That's what you're doing. But you could have gave us a whole different like route of not making him a good guy.
Yeah, that was my last and final thing that didn't work was too many characters.
That should have been the first one.
Yeah. True.
Because in the 95 version, we got the main characters. That was it.
Yeah. Like
Goro, we're starting from like beginning. We had Liu Kang. We had Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Sonya. Jax wasn't even in the conversation. He was, but he didn't get to fight. Because remember in the first one, he stayed back while Sonya went to the ship to find Kano.
Yep.
So Kano, Cobalt wasn't there. Kung Lao, was Kung Lao in the
Nah. He mentioned him, but he wasn't.
First game.
Oh, the first game?
Well, did he come in the second game?
I think he came in the second game. He wasn't in the first game. I don't believe he was.
Yeah, I can't remember. But regardless, you gave us too many extra characters. Colt, you could have literally started off with Johnny Cage and still build out that way. Granted, you probably didn't want to keep it so 95-ish, but it's okay. Yeah. Because and a lot of people probably don't really know the storyline of back then in the 95.
Right.
Part 2 I watched probably right before I watched
this one.
Yeah. The 2021 version. And I'm like, Annihilation had the characters, but they didn't deliver in the action and the fighting.
So, I don't think they had no budget.
Nah, their budget was definitely like 10,000. Like So if you ask me, if whoever, let's say this director says, all right, I'm hearing everybody's conversation. I'm seeing the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
To me, I'm taking elements from the first one, the second one, and the third one, or this one right here, that you make this fourth one. Now that will be the one that say, all right, this is what we've been waiting on the entire time. We got
Going
no
forward,
storyline. We got the right action scenes. We got the nostalgia of everything. And then, of course, you can make it, it's a fighting movie with fuck it. Like, you can really make this a 2 hour, 20-minute movie. This was like an hour, what, 35?
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah,
like I'm gonna say like hour 40, hour 45. I say like hour 50, but I feel like the credits, take up like 5. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say like an hour 25, hour 30. So you could give us like a 2 hour, 205, have those characters, have the action, have the dialogue, have the legit storyline, and then go from there. That a third, fourth, possibly a fifth movie franchise can, or you want to stretch it out. Because now you bring in other villains that Shang Tsung dies off. Quan Chi comes into play. Like there's a lot of other characters with the Queen Lay and all that that makes a difference between like Scorpion and all their bloodlines and everything else. So it's a lot of ways you can go about with Mortal Kombat, man.
Yeah.
They have a big universe.
Yeah, huge.
What about you, B?
And then we're not going to talk about the new versions of bringing like a Cassie Cage, of course, with Johnny and Sonya being together. Like, there's so many characters that you can touch, but you got to build it correctly.
Yeah, so for stuff that worked for me was Subzero.
That's not lean.
Just right.
Already
and being healthy around here. I mean, like the big three was really like Subzero, just like his look and just he was. I feel like he was a pretty good villain. Like, I mean, I feel like he could have went further with it. Kind of what G was saying, killing off Cole's family. Like if they would have done that, it definitely would have took it to him. Like, yo, this dude, like we already knew he was bad news, but yo, like he is no joke. That would take it to another level. But he worked for me. Kano, hilarious. Like he was just
forgot one person.
Subzero.
No, another villain that I hate that they made him look like that.
Who?
Freaking Reptile.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, come on now. You couldn't give us a legit person and then went from there.
He could have transformed.
They took that one from 95. Remember?
Yeah.
They took that from 95.
Little CGI.
Yeah, he was in the 95.
Yeah, he was CGI the whole time until like the last minute he hopped into like a statue thing, came to life.
But this one you could have really gave us a real person and then still all those effects of being
the lizard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to give us a real like alligator or whatever he crocodile? What is he? I don't even know what he was.
He's just a mix of all of them. He's a big ass Komodo dragon. That's what he is.
Yeah, like when you say reptile, it's like that could be under anything.
Yeah. So many things.
They could have played that here, laser when he came out. Remember that laser?
And don't even give me an Annihilation when they put what's his name? Barak with the little
yeah.
I gave this man like a real mask that was still loose on his face. Like, come on, Mortal Kombat. What we doing?
I need to go back and look at that.
Kobe.
Oh man. Okay.
Let's get back to the 2021 version.
Okay. So Subzero, he worked for me. Kano, delivering with the jokes, worked for me. Kung Lao being super like just I would say he was a jerk, but he was locked in. Yeah, he was a jerk, but you dug it, okay. Liu Kang, he was all right. Like I
hated Liu Kang.
he was different from what we're expecting. Why?
Because he looked like freaking Ryu. I hate that they tried.
Yeah, the white.
It's like, come on now.
Yeah.
He didn't wear that in the game. He had that color scheme, but he didn't look like Ryu.
Yeah.
He looked like, a lot of times they try to put like a Bruce Lee character in every like fighting, but he didn't even look like that. He really like a Liu Kang. Like he didn't look like nobody else but a Liu Kang.
Yeah, like
He's like a Luke Kent.
There's like certain pieces, certain moments where Liu Kang, like I said, they gave me like a Ryu from Street Fighter vibe. Moments he looked CGI-ish, and then the fact that he already had like napalms coming out himself. I'm like, so he just already here. Because I'm like, if anything, you could have stuck with that storyline and made Liu Kang the first tournament winner, and then got into like a cult, and that still could have been a storyline that he comes to be Scorpion back later. But again, it's so many ways you could have made this movie script, and y'all, I feel like y'all got lazy. Y'all put y'all time into possibly the action scenes that still wasn't that up to par.
Yeah,
and just laxy daisy on the. I think they were looking for the wow factor, which I think they got from the trailer, and I think they had in the movie. But you slacked on the dialogue and the script, and that's where you would have kept us going. Like, okay, we ready for the second one. We want a third one, but you didn't give us that.
Yeah,
for this second one, you do better.
Yeah, like so you already said like the first fight scene, like that's probably might be the best, and then the end fight scene was the best, and after that, in between, like,
it was actually crazy. I like, even though I'm talking about it, the fight scene with Jax and Scorpion. I mean, with Jax and Subzero. I like that one.
Yeah, no, actually, that's what I'm saying. Like, that was like the third best fight scene. Like,
okay.
Yeah, like that was like a third best. Like, like they gave Jax like something to actually like throw hands with before he got his arms. I was like, okay, like Jax is doing something. He's showing me something. Okay, like he's capable of.
Because he's not even just like trying to swing with his metal arms.
Yeah,
metal arms at this time, but just his arms. He really.
Yeah, he can actually like throw hands and get down. So that was like third best fighting scene to me.
I wanted Liu Kang to fight better, or not better, but his scenes were like,
yeah,
like Liu Kang is literally top three characters in Mortal Kombat of all time. Yes. You don't give him his fighting time.
That's what it came. That's what comes with like stuff that didn't work for me, like the fighting scenes. For me, like it was a lot of editing. It was a lot of like cut scenes, especially like the montage of like our main four fighters. It was we're gonna separate them and have them like fighting in different spots. So it was that happened so quickly. But like I said, the editing was so choppy to me. Like it was like, all right, cut from this angle, punch him over here, cut back in this angle, so punch him over here. And I should have known that was gonna happen right when the movie started off, when Cole was in the MMA cage and he saw him fighting, and it happened so quick, and like it was like cussing over here. It started jumping all around. I was like, okay, maybe they're doing something different and just showing like, how quick, or they were doing something different, right? But once I started seeing the rest of the movie and action scenes, because I feel like the first action scene, that was like a totally different movie. It was like, this is something. UFC? No, I'm talking about back in 16, 17 with Scorpion and Subzero. I'm like, that first 7 minutes was I feel like it was a different movie from.
They didn't even give us a timeline. They just gave us location. They didn't even give us a timeline.
Like when we went to Cole, they didn't even give us like where we was living at. He was just like, Jack put him. He was like, go to Gary, Indiana. I'm like, where y'all at? Y'all in Detroit? I'm like, where y'all in Mississippi? Where we at? Oklahoma? Where you fighting at? I don't know where we at. Just go to Gary, Indiana. Like, Gary, Indiana, of all places. I'm like,
this peep game. What confused me really was, and I might have missed it, and I might got to go back. But I'm like, at first, I'm thinking Cole is a cop like Jax. Did I miss it? Because I'm like, you go from UFC fighter, and all of a sudden you talking about some, oh yeah, go find Sonya, but you like you looking for backup too, or you was backup.
That's what messed me up. Like, okay, so the main thing is like Cole, like the big thing, he must be like the bloodline to Scorpion. You already said it earlier, like they could have set that up and did something like totally earlier, and G said it earlier. I kind of alluded to it, like you could have set that up where Scorpion got his family. I'm sorry, Sub-Zero got his family, and then like killed the mom or the daughter or something, either earlier or when they separated each other and got him to get his armor. Like something had to happen from him in order to earn that to me, because when you first start seeing him fight, you see him fight, but he loses. I'm like, how can I root for somebody who's a fucking loser? I can't root for you. If I don't see your potential. Like when Creed first started off, right, Adonis comes out and you see him fighting in some Mexican league. You see him go out there and he getting worked, but he whooped his ass, right? And we see him a little bit later on. He challenged somebody in Hollywood. He get his ass whooped because he ain't ready just yet. But we can at least know
gave him the works.
Yeah, somebody, but you see the potential there, right? And this one, you just see him like he's delivering punches, and then he loses. Like they said it in the beginning. Then
my man to tap out.
Yeah, I'm like, how am I supposed to root for somebody who's a fucking loser? I can't root for you if you're a loser, dog. Like, and then we see his family, and crazy, like his wife root for him. She still got his back, but she ain't watching it. His daughter got his back. I'm okay, cool. I'm like, we're setting these people, but I don't care about them. I'm like, you setting them up, but I can't root for the main dude that's supposed to be our way into everything. Then you kind of lose me with everything else. So yeah, I'm like, if they would have had like Subzero, take out his wife either early in the movie or halfway through when he earned his shield. That changed dynamics. It changes everything. It's like, okay, you feel for him.
It's dark anyway.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why didn't you kill somebody off again? My outfit, okay, like this Subzero is definitely no joke. Or like, okay, I can feel for Cole. Like I see his potential. He can throw hands. Like he is a winner. But we just get word from Jackson. Oh man, you beat Eddie, Tobias or whatever. I'm like, I ain't see it. So yeah, exactly. Like it's just pictures of him winning. Him with Sean, got pictures of him later on. I'm like, he won, but how'd he fall off? Why'd he fall off? There's no reason why. He's just there, like, I'm fighting for $200. Why?
What were you doing before this? Like, what is your life? What is your career like?
I'm like, why should I root for you?
Everybody we knew what they did, And,
even his wife, we knew she was a nurse.
That right.
Yeah, I'm like you had to build that up more. The pacing
for this one right
the
here.
Last hour is just too fast.
This is my last take, and I'm gonna be shut up. The fact that again we start with the dagger, he gets it late, Scorpion appears, and he's like, "You have released me." How do we know you was even trapped? Who told us you was?
He went from Scorpion to like Spawn.
The last time we saw you was dead.
Yeah, I'm like, when'd you turn into Scorpion for the last 500 years? What happened?
Who brought you back to life? How you getting fire out your mouth? Like, what?
You was down there training for 500 years and you got some clothes now? I'm like, that made no, and like, it made sense for him coming releasing the dagger. Like, you got no other bloodline that could release you at some point? That made no sense. I'm like,
that makes no sense to me either. So there's a lot of question marks, which is why it's a 7 for me. And then I'm thinking out loud, I might get a 6.5 or 6.5. But it's too many question marks. It leads me to create my own movie. Like it really leads me to create my own movie. And
oh man,
I don't want that.
That's my big question. So did Kevin Feige and the MCU spoilers for as our expectations, or is it just impossible to actually make a video game to movie adaptation?
No, I think it could be done. It's just like, because we're saying the first 95 Mortal Kombat, we all like it. It was cheesy, but we liked it. Yep. This thing, Sonic was amazing to me, and part 2 probably gonna be better, right? Yep. It could be done. It can really be done, but you have to really dissect everything of this game and make it worthwhile. Not because it's shock value. We ain't gonna talk about Dragon Ball Z. We're not gonna talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie from way back in the 90s and how that was just dumb trash. You can
a Street Fighter movie.
Street Fighter, like what's crazy is I like Street Fighter because they had the characters. You just didn't give me the other elements of why Street Fighter, which is literally probably, I mean, depending on who you're talking to, is still more popular than Mortal Kombat in the sense of fighting and all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Tekken, even like the little Tekken movies they had was pretty dope. Yeah. The little straight.
B loved all the Power Ranger movies. I was in there mad.
You feel me? All the Power
Rangers. I got some for that.
Even Power Rangers gave better action scenes than the last joint. Come on, man.
G, what about you? Did Kevin Feige and MCU skew our expectations as far as like what we expect, seeing out of these type of movies? Or
I think they challenged. Yeah, I think they made the bar too high for like the expectations. When I sit here and I think about like what I would do, it's hard for me to not say that I haven't already seen it in one of the MCU developing stories. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess on a basic level, like Sonic was so good to me because it wasn't Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and Shadow. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, okay, I get to know the main character. And there isn't someone that I could potentially love or like more, for at least from an ability standpoint, on the screen with them to where it's like a tug of war. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's cool to know that Sonic's jokes may not be as funny as one of the humans, but none of them can run as fast as him. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I mean? Like, so it gave enough tension between him and Robotnik, someone that was just capable enough potentially to make all these robots and stuff, give him a hard time. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I was like, I like this dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Like Sonic don't necessarily need him. Right. He was like, I like having this dynamic. And we were like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. So it was, you know, like we just said, like Cole was hard to believe in because there was characters that could do it without him. So we were kind of like,
but
why didn't y'all just give us Cole?
But you also like Sonic because you played the game for so long. We never knew where Sonic came from. Like, I know.
Right, nah.
So they built the storyline for him. Like, he pretty much was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That grows up to be still Sonic, but in a different form, right? But again, Cole, you don't build his story. You start off strong with Scorpion, but you don't build Cole's story.
It just
that's the conversation.
Yeah, it was just stuff started happening like right after. It was like Jax pulled up. I told G on Sunday, I was like, I'm not hopping in the car. I just met this dude. He could be with my man with throwing the ice. I'm like, y'all could be teaming up trying to kill me. I'm like, hop in the car. I'm like, you ain't Jackson. For me, hopping that car, I need Jax to run Subzero over. And then if the car doesn't work all of a sudden, we get still another car and we on the run. Okay, I can rock with you now. You're ready to do it over. You just hop in the car. I'm like, nah, we hop in this car, go somewhere else.
First of all, I wasn't even, if I was Jack, I'm not even going after Scorpion. I mean, Sub-Zero.
Bro, if a man walked through a door and then the smoke follow him too, nah, I'm
like, is that heaven or hell? Because I'm not going in there either way.
I'm like, I don't care if my special forces or not. I'm like, nah, that's different, dog. I'm out.
With my little gun. Right. Like, nah, man. My man was outside doing this and chucking it. As long as last time I looked up, it wasn't nothing really in the sky. So what is my man doing? Nah.
The disrespect though, I ain't gonna hold you. I laugh when he broke his arm and the way he fell to the ground. He was like,
dude, yeah, that.
I'm like, my man didn't die and break his neck at that moment. Like, what?
Because I wasn't expecting him to hit something else. I'm like, I ain't know that was a good shot when he fell down and he hit something else. I was like, oh God.
That was a long drop.
Yes. I thought the same thing. I'm like, he had like a big ass torso on the chest. Like, that's the only thing that stings. Like, boop, just fell on the chest. Like, he hit no head. He was just all chest on the concrete.
Can you imagine?
I just thought about this. Like, I don't remember any of the songs. Like, I don't really remember the soundtrack.
The score was mad to me, like not until like the end credits rolled up. Like at least in the first one, when it first came out, the music came on. I mean, I guess it's tell the times as well. Like they gonna hit you with the music at first, and then when the last fight, when Liu Kang and Shang Tsung start fighting, you start hearing the music again. But in this one, like it didn't. I felt like I heard a piece of it towards the end, but it just didn't.
Memorable.
It wasn't. So final thoughts. I know y'all gotta get out of here. G, final thoughts. Are you expecting a sequel, and you look forward to seeing a sequel?
I think yes. I'm gonna watch it. What would I add, I guess, is more Raiden, less Shang Tsung, less Cole, more Sub-Zero, less Jax, more Scorpion, more theme music. Even if it don't have those, I'm still gonna watch it because it's just,
nostalgia is nostalgia.
For the culture, dog. For the culture, dog. I can't cry about it and not offer a solution. So they're gonna get my $11 and my concession stand for my blue slushy. And I'm gonna be like, look, y'all got my money. Make a better Cabal knife and not one from the flea market with the tie end on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that John told me that because now I gotta go see it for myself.
They look cheap.
John, what about you? Final thoughts. I know You looking forward to a sequel?
Final thoughts. I don't like G's haircut. That's first of all. Second of all,
get off me.
It's like nah.
I hate you.
The way they promote this, like even with the background behind you, B, the way it starts off, as you're saying, way back, it could easily have been a Scorpion and Sub-Zero conversation, right? Because now you're telling me I don't even know how Sub-Zero even became like a slave to Shang Tsung.
You just with him. I was like, okay.
So with that, to me, I'm like, you could have started with Shang Tsung. With Scorpion and Sub-Zero's backstory, because even the reason we don't even know the reason Sub-Zero want to go kill him in the first place in the beginning of the movie. So you even got that. So I would say, let's deal with the story. I want a better storyline from everybody. That's first of all. Second of all, if they did a second one, yes, give me a little bit more characters. Let's see some more. I don't really care about the fatalities because I think a lot of people really do have stuff that can shoot out their arms, out their legs, out their mouth. Give us that element and some fatalities.
Yeah.
They try to give a little bit of what was the beastality? No, they didn't do that. The one when Liu Kang had the fire.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Animal?
I think animality is when you actually change. Yeah. So
yeah,
I think maybe it was just one of his fatalities. He just got a dragon to come out now.
Yeah.
That could be it.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool, but could have been better. So yeah, it's dialogue, storyline, and amp up the action. That's really it. Yeah. I'm all about storyline always.
Yes.
Being a Mortal Kombat fan and being a part of like just playing the game from '95 and to now, you have a lot of storyline you can build from. Even the animes. It's like matter of fact, the anime for Scorpion that dropped, I think, last year.
Yep.
We was just talking about that. Yeah.
Use half of that in the movie to build the storyline, and then you can get a Cole later on down the road and build that storyline. And then maybe by the third Mortal Kombat movie, then you bring possibly a Goro because Earth Champion's been winning too much and whatever the case. You know,
yeah, you could have flipped it like that. Yeah.
Give us how Shang Tsung became Shang Tsung, which we never understood in any of the movies. He just always been the boss.
Right.
We even knew who Shao Kahn was in the second one. Like we always heard like, oh, the Emperor this, the Emperor that. Like he was the guy. And then you realize his parents was a part of the that part with him and Raiden and all that. I can't even think of it right now.
Right. So, he actually kind of played up Goro. Now that you say it, he was like, it's good to have Shao Kahn blood or amongst us. Go to his barn and try to fight him, royalty. And he's like, sure, right.
Yeah, so
and he got smacked up.
I need backstory. That's all. I just need backstories. You just can't give us, at least in Marvel, which is why we're so spoiled, there's always the backstory to a villain, even to the villain and to the hero. There's a backstory how they became what they are. Yeah. Even if they don't really show the villain's backstory, you hear it. They talk about it.
Yeah, Mike. That's what I was kind of alluding to in the other question. Is like with, I don't know if we're being spoiled, but just if you have a solid story and you enjoy the characters, that's why these movies keep growing and keep getting better and better, because you built time and they built them up to a certain point where you want to keep learning about them. I feel like this Mortal Kombat movie to me equals the Power Rangers movie that came out a couple years ago, but the inverse. So in Power Rangers, we got
the 95 version?
Oh, no. Version? I'm talking about the one that came out like 2017, 2016. Okay. Yeah, so we had great character development, a pretty solid story, which, kind of made some sense, but not that much action. And this one, we got a bunch of action, a bunch of fighting, which is the game, fatalities, look cool, some cool character design, but there was like there was some character development, or at least they tried, but it just didn't work. It didn't flow. It didn't build up to anything where there was no tension. Right. So when Scorpion and Sub-Zero fought, it was like the only tension was there was because Cole was about to die or something like that. But it like the threat didn't feel big enough when the opening title card saying, you gotta have the tournament because Outworld keeps beating the Earth realm. And like there's no tension there. There was no stakes for me really. So
yeah, it's like, oh, we won 9 out of 10, so we just need to win one more. That's it.
Right. Yeah. So like you have some like like this was like the inverse. I'm like, you had a solid starting point, but they should have set up bigger for more potential for a sequel. So like at the end of we get the end credit or that the last scene was like, oh, okay, we're going to Hollywood, try to get Johnny Cage. And it's like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. Same thing Mortal Kombat. I mean, sorry, same thing Power Rangers. Is like at a post-credit scene, it was like, yeah, hey, Tommy, you in a green jacket. Yeah, my Tommy's in the class all of a sudden. It's like, oh, okay, Tommy's gonna be in the second one. But they didn't get to that because the response wasn't that great. And I feel like this has potential for a sequel, but will it get there? I don't know. I mean, I think it's made its halfway its budget back. It cost $50 million. I think it's made $50 million.
Budget back. Yeah, I think they did.
Well, no, they have to make $90 million to make the budget back. So
I think they made like $50 million last weekend, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, it cost $50 million. You have to make double pretty much what your budget is. So if it gets to 90 million, they have potential, but I don't know if the buzz is as big. A lot of people are either like, I thought it was really good, or it was trash.
They got a lot of overseas like love too. So
yeah, so I mean, so the potential is there. I'm like, I feel like it can grow, and they can make it. So for me, on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a 6. Like the potential was there. The action was cool. I like some of the characters, but just I didn't care about all the characters like I should have, especially the main character. I don't know if it's really. I feel like it was like first time writers and director was new, but I'm definitely down to see what they do next. So bonus question, real quick, since if there's a sequel, who do y'all want to see as Johnny Cage? Last minute, because I got somebody. I got Zac Efron as Johnny Cage.
Woo! I can roll with that. I can roll with that. Or I like the dude. Well, he's more Asian, but I was gonna say the dude. I can't even use him. Nope. The dude who played in the last Bruce Willis movie. Not the last one, but it's Are
you talking? What's the face? Boomerang from the Suicide Squad? Jack Courtney.
Yeah,
I can see that. I could see that. I could possibly see that. Okay. What you got, G? Because they like the word is they talking about. Somebody said John Cena. I'm like, nah, but they also said The Miz from WWE. I was like, I'm like, he has attitude, but I don't know if he can really like action martial artist fight.
I was like, he has a personality, but the actual fighting, I don't see.
Yeah, I don't see it. G, you got anybody?
Right. Probably Grant Gus. Yeah, you gotta play.
You got buff up.
Yeah,
you got buff up.
It's like a no-brainer.
My man.
Yeah, take him from Flash and just put him there. He got, some.
Actually, you know what? I could see it. Like if he got buffer, like, and he just like started working on his stuff. I could see that.
Yeah, maybe bring in a fan base.
Because
from
Henry
another place.
Cavill, when he played in Immortals, and then he beefed up for Man of Steel. Grant can do the same thing a little bit.
I said Zac Efron because he can dance, and if you can dance, pretty much you can learn choreography to fight. But also you got to be able to pull off can you got hand skills? Some people don't translate. I can throw hands really.
Like he can fight.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, we shall see.
He don't look like he can fight in real life. So
yeah, like you got to be able to look like you can fight in real life. That's the main thing.
No one will ever take him seriously in a fight. Johnny Cage at least had a shirt open. Like my man about to fight in some slacks in a church attire. Like
right. That's our spoiler review for Mortal Kombat 2021. What about you guys? How do you guys feel? Are you guys on the same level? We all kind of felt like it was meh for some potential. Or you guys either is it fire or is it trash? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts down below. Post your comments, holler at your boy. Make sure you guys follow us on social media. And if you're enjoying what you're watching, please hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell. For my bro John and my bro G, I am Brian, the movie Messiah. Base 5, let's ride.
Dang.